Cool. So I'm Daniel Naselli. I work with Oak Vodka and handle their sales and promotions and things like that. Sure. So San Antonio, I feel like, has a unique closeness, tight knit. Everybody knows each other. We've all kind of worked together, whether it be a few years spent in the scene or a decade plus spent in the scene. Everybody, it's a family, and so because of that, you see people coming up from being a bartender to a bar owner, and then next thing you know, that bar owner, they have a bar group, or and something like that, and then those groups connect with the greater groups in San Antonio, and there's still that real tight-knit sense of community. It's the biggest small town around in general, but San Antonio has such a saturated, distinct culture that it's hard to come in and drown that out. It's hard to dilute what we have here, bringing, and no offense to anybody else, everybody's got their culture and their where they're from and what they bring and something new, but people normally who are from San Antonio, they stay in San Antonio, they love San Antonio, they love who we are, what we do, and what the city represents. And so it's kind of hard to come in and shake that up, because everybody here, there's that strong foundation of keeping the roots, the history, intact. Core characteristics of this industry would be communication. The fact that people look out for each other. Like if somebody is short on hours, we'll find you a spot somewhere type thing. Giving, very, very giving. Communal, like everybody wants to gather together. Everybody wants to help somebody launch their new thing. Everybody wants to help everybody chase their dream, be independent, and achieve those goals. So how I got started in the industry was I had just lost a job, and I run into a friend, and he goes, "Hey, you want to help at the door?" Because I have a lot of experience doing jiu-jitsu and things like that. So not only did he know I could handle the situations, but I'm also a very polite guy, so I have good communication skills. So he goes, "You want to help us out on the door?" So I started as a bouncer basically, and a door guy, and just helping out, and did that for a few years, and then begged them to let me bar back. Come on, man, let me make a little more money. And then it grew from there, and just bar backing and getting to know how everything worked. I think where I got lucky was the fact that the bar that I worked at was the perfect representation of how you can be sustainable. It's a small bar, but they do very well. They make good numbers. They have a tight employment that doesn't have any turnover, zero turnover. And you're keeping these people employed, and you're keeping them getting their bills paid, and you're doing this out of such a small thing. That's a great representation of the potential of the bar industry in general, San Antonio. People will come out, people will support. If you have something that people enjoy and want to be around, they're going to do it. And so how I came up was being able to see what worked in the smaller settings, maybe not these giant places, and see the operation side. And then now with this brand, being able to come in and offer the right things to these people that I know will help. I think in San Antonio, what people value more is that familiarity. People like going back and getting, hey, shake the hand of the person who's there. Everybody knows each other's names. I don't really see much of the gimmick stuff that I would call. I mean, it exists, but I also think San Antonio is such a big town that people separate the areas, like, hey, like what's downtown and Southtown, to people that live all the way over by I-10 and the Rim. It's almost like two different San Antonios. And so you'll see it in some of these, like the college bars and things like that, where it's more of the bottle service, more of the club vibe, a little more of the gimmicky stuff. And I'm sure that there's always going to be people that want that. But the core of San Antonio, I mean, we're looking for places that have been there forever, and you can go into the neighborhood and people are waving at you as you're driving up. So there's a few bars in San Antonio that really shine with our product, and it's all a testament to relationship. One, we do have a good product. Two, we help them figure out ways to not just shamelessly pitch the brand, but really find a good way to say, hey, let's improve the bar program, your menu, let's find creative ways to move this product. And then activations and things like that we're able to push the product. But yeah, there's a few bars here with Gimme Gimme, Rosario's, Faust Tavern, High Tones, El Bujo, Lonesome Rose, just a lot of people, Idle Brewing, actually, 3-star bar. A lot of these people who it's simply a testament to relationship. It's interesting with vodka because it's not really like everybody goes in and grabs a beer and maybe a wash. It's like, it's a tequila and a whiskey town a lot of times, but there's so much room for the vodka. There's so much room for good creative cocktails that we can put on their menu and get them moving something, and it helps all of us, right? Because if that was just stagnant before, now we're moving more vodka or we're moving more gin, for example, and those things help everybody because now you have a more diverse or more balanced out stuff moving off the bar, not just one or two things. So awesome. I am a diehard Spurs fan. When I moved here, within the first 3 days, I met Sean Elliott, Will Perdue, and Avery Johnson. And my dad was telling me not to go bother them, and they see me as a kid, and they wave me over, and they take pictures with me, and they sign stuff. And I'm from the East Coast, so I'm used to like Latrell Sprewell, like ignoring you. You know what I mean? And these guys were just the most inviting team. And that's the first thing that stood out to me in San Antonio was like, man, these guys have love for their fans. And I was a Spurs fan ever since. Die-hard Spurs fan. I've got a Spurs tattoo. So we just had some huge news and a huge announcement. And as a die-hard Spurs fan, nothing makes me happier. But we did just announce our partnership as the official vodka of the San Antonio Spurs. Why that's so important to me is because it's as deep rooted in the community as it gets. Growing up as a kid, I watched every game, meeting the Spurs, feeling the love. It was so different than any other sport or athletes I've ever met in my life. Being a 90s kid, you grow up in the Bulls era and all this stuff. To me, the Robinson, the Elliott, the AJs, the Perdues, the Kerrs, all these guys, the Vinny Del Negros, like that's San Antonio to the bone. And those guys built the love that everybody has around here still for that team. You know what I mean? So for us, it's a few things. It's showing a testament to community, even on a large scale. These guys go, hey, who's this guy? Who are these little guys from our town? And give us the opportunity to work with them. And secondly, for us, we get to be fanboys and put Spurs on everything and be excited about it. You know what I mean? So it just motivates us to have that kind of backing and have that kind of partnership, and to have somebody like that believe in us shows, hey, San Antonio sticks together. We have huge plans for 2025. First of all, we do have a new bar coming into the Frost Bank Center. It'll be on level 206, and we're working on that, and that's going to be a huge launch, which should really put us out there to the community even more and be a lot more visible. And then expanding kind of outside of our normal neighborhoods and boundaries. People are starting to call us and hear about us and say, hey, work with us too, and hear about all the things and figuring out why we got to that point to get that partnership. It's through all the things we've done with people and the reputation we have as a company. So now it's just facilitating all the flow of everything coming towards us now, all the good coming back.